I think I started hormones like in March of that year. And my school year ended in May. So it was very, very quick. And people were noticing right away. Like something's not right. She started to sound like a boy. She started to look a little bit like a boy, starting to like develop some muscle. Something's up. The people my teachers, the school staff, and my peers were all noticing, but I hadn't really, to most of them, like I was still Chloe. Like I hadn't really told them about what was going on. So it was very jarring for them. Like I can't imagine, I can't imagine like from an outside perspective, like just like seeing one of your classmates one day like, start to look more and more like the opposite sex with no explanation.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that none of my teachers like had me like step aside and like talk to me like, what's going on? Like none of the adults like stepped in.
Gosh.
And they just watched from the sidelines.
Shame on them. They were probably terrified, lose their job if they in any way questioned it.
But I mean, they were like that in a lot of ways, just in general with my education. Like I had like a specialized plan for my education in place that they just refused to abide by because they were lazy. They didn't care. And I was an outsider. I came to that school in fifth grade, and I wasn't like playing any sports or anything. I wasn't one of the good kids, right? So they didn't want to deal with me. And there was one experience that I had. I found that the bullying started to heighten a little bit after I started the hormones. Because kids can be cruel. They see like one odd kid out, and it's like, gotta reinforce the social order, right? And there was this one kid who had been bullying me throughout the school year. I remember he was like this wannabe like hardcore kid, and he was just awful to me. Like he would make a lot of comments on like my body or what I was wearing, sometimes like asking like very sexually charged questions. And sometimes like he would like physically assault me, like spitting on me, like throwing stuff at me, tripping me. And eventually one day he really stepped over the line and he sexually assaulted me in a classroom. This happened and it was crowded. Like it was a full classroom. It was before school. All the other kids were just like playing around in there, like finishing up their homework. The teacher was there. Nobody noticed as this kid went up to me, looked me in the eyes, groped and squeezed my breast. Nobody did anything. He just walked away. And I just stood there in shock and in fear because what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I react to that? That really scarred me. There were no bruises left behind. There was no physical evidence of it. So it's not like I could just like go up to like a staff member and say like he hurt me. And with how poorly they were treating me already, like how could I trust them with the fact that I got hurt by one of their students? I kept it to myself, but that trauma and that fear of being taken advantage of again, of being recognized as female even, of having this part of my body just being there, that stayed with me for years. That was when I decided like, I'm going to start hiding my breasts. Like it's time that I start hiding this part of my body so this never happens again. And nobody ever thinks that I'm a woman ever again. And eventually I'm going to get surgery. It's going to be gone. It's no longer a part of me. I do not want it there. I started using this compression device called a binder to hide my breasts. But I never told anybody what happened to me for years. And it took a while for me to process, to even recognize as a sexual assault, because I was in this headspace of, I'm a guy, like stuff like that isn't supposed to happen. Guys aren't supposed to have breasts in the first place. And I'm not gonna be taken seriously if I tell anybody about this. So why should I?
Yeah. I'm so sorry that happened. I know I said that earlier. And I know you're not playing the victim, but that shouldn't have happened to you. I'm sorry it did.
No. I mean, I wouldn't say that today I'm affected by the trauma of it, really. I mean, my breasts are gone, so it's not like I really could be.
But this was the thing, right? You said your femininity and your growing into womanhood, you were afraid of how men would look at you, that they would mistreat you, objectify you, not see you as the person you were.
It did happen. And I didn't feel like I had anybody to confide in. I would have told my parents if it weren't for the fact that they would eventually bring it up to school. And I knew that if we were to go to school, it could have gotten me into further trouble.
Right.
It could have. Like, I didn't know if like what if they ended up talking to this boy and they told him,
knock it off.
He would know. He would know.
Yeah.
They might just like give him a slap on the wrist
And then
have him come back to school later and he could do something worse to me. I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to go through the trouble of that. But I don't really feel connected to that situation anymore, but it makes me so angry because I feel like it's a reflection of how schools in general handle sexual assault and the safety and well-being of their students. It's such a shame.
Yeah. So you're getting bullied. You're also getting congratulated. That must be a weird experience.
Yeah. It was very, very jarring. It was mostly like most of the praise came from online or from my friends who were already in high school, so they were at a different school. So it was like kind of like physically disconnected from me. But most of like the bullying and mistreatment that I got was from school.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.